I am doing great. Glad to be here. I am Jessica Day. I am the mayor for Knightdale. Harper Park means so much to the town of Knightdale. We are revitalizing Harper Park, but this building has been here for years. Many people in Knightdale remember this as the library at one point. It was the Chamber of Commerce building at one point. It was Town Hall at one point. And now we are adding so much. We have tennis courts here. We have brand new pickleball courts, which is one of the fastest growing sports right now. And we have an all-inclusive playground that will be finished in the next few months, offering additional opportunities for our citizens here in Knightdale.
Hey, yeah, the life. I said it's the life. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see y'all out there living y'all life, man. Live it up. I went from sleeping on the bunk inside a cage to home ownership. While people was afraid of that life, I was condoning it. It helped that I was raised with a mice known to roam. If you got it out.
What's up, good people? It's your boy, Bro Troy. We are back for another episode of the Bro Code Show. We missing the homie, man. Bro Kurt, we love you, man.
Yeah,
it's like we here. We love you like cooked food. But hold on. Another. So here we are, another episode of the Bro Code Show, another conversation, another awesome person. Well, first and foremost, man, I think this is like your old stomping ground.
Yeah. I live literally 1 mile down the road off of Smithfield Road.
We're here in the city of Knightdale.
That's correct.
That's right. We got the mayor today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
How you doing?
Yes.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you're on the Bro Code Show. You are honorary sister from another mister. Yes,
It feels
absolutely.
good. It feels good.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Well, we're going to ease into this conversation. It's my job now just to have a little fun. We call this rapid fire questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
Ooh, I would say I'm a 9.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
How about Ariel or Jasmine?
Jasmine.
First celebrity crush.
Allen Iverson.
Ah, AI. That's
See
a
that?
good one. We have to talk about that. Are you dawn or dusk?
Dusk.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
I would go back to college.
Do you snore?
I don't think so.
Yeah, don't you know?
Now you can wake yourself up.
That is true. That is true. Place you most want to travel.
There's so many places I want to travel. Top on the list right now, though, when you say that, first thing that came to mind was Australia. It just seems like an amazing place to be.
In certain part or just?
Not necessarily. Maybe Sydney, Australia, but it's,
Okay.
would love to see Australia.
Favorite junk food?
So many. Ice cream.
Okay. You got a favorite ice cream?
There's a new one now.
Okay. Indulge me.
So Bluebell has ice cream, and now I've been getting this. It's chocolate with cookie dough pieces in it. It's so good.
I'm curious since you're on there. Is chocolate your favorite flavor?
No, it was strawberry, but then I tried this one, and it's
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds very delicious. Favorite season?
fall.
Last Halloween costume?
I was an Egyptian princess.
Oh, is that off of Disney? Is that a play off of Disney?
It wasn't, but it could have been. It could have been, but no, that time it wasn't. Yeah.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay, favorite cake?
I would say, chocolate, and when I say chocolate, chocolate cake with chocolate icing. I don't know about if there's an argument that you know, but there's an argument out there
So
that
white cake or yellow cake though? Like
the
cake.
chocolate cake.
Actual
better,
chocolate.
yeah.
Not just the icing. My bad.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. There's an argument out
triple
there.
chocolate,
Is that
like,
chocolate cake?
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Do you ever post inspirational quotes on social media?
I do
You have a
sometimes. Let's see. Right now, I'd have to think about that.
We'll come back to
Yeah.
it. We'll circle back around. That's rapid fire questions. Mayor Jessica Day. I'm curious. We always talk about appreciating where we're going, right? So we got to respect where we came from. And for me, it's my grandmother. Like that was the driving point in my early on life. So I'd love to hear more about your early life, your childhood. Where's home? You know, what was the dynamics of the household? How'd you grow up?
Yeah. Well, that's easy at first because I'm one of the rare ones. I'm actually from here. I grew up right here in Knightdale.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Okay.
I did leave.
Okay.
I went to school in Greensboro.
Yeah.
And I went to Omaha, Nebraska for a year.
Okay.
Moved back and decided to come back home. So my parents are here. I'm an only child.
Okay.
And I had amazing parents, loving parents that cared for me, great home growing up. And I decided to go to school in Greensboro and had a business degree. And just started to just get involved in different things. So, yeah.
Was there anyone in early, like sports was a difference maker for me?
Yeah.
I tried karate, all the other things, but that helped me out along the way. I didn't really recognize it then, but it was those coaches that really helped me along the way. Was there anyone in your early childhood, middle school, high school, that did the same for you?
Ooh, there were so many, so many. I would definitely go to sports as well. So I was an athlete.
Okay.
So glad that you said that. I tried to play every sport that you could possibly play. I ended up high school, volleyball, basketball, I ran track. And I've had so many coaches that have given back and poured into my life. One that comes to mind in particular is when I was in high school, there was a gentleman, Mr. Walker. And I was telling somebody else this story and talking about him. And I thought about it and I said, he never really was my coach. He never actually was my teacher either. Wow. He was a teacher at Southeast Raleigh. I went to Southeast Raleigh for high school. And he just had such a caring spirit. His door was always open. He was the junior high basketball coach, and they were undefeated for years. And if you ever were around him, you know why. Yeah. When you say inspirational quotes, that might be one of the most inspirational that I hold on to. He would always just point up to the sky, and he just would do that, and eventually you would know him and know what that means. And that meant shoot for the moon. Yeah. And if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars.
My grandmother said that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's amazing how certain people just become difference maker. I love what you said where he was never my coach, but indirectly he was. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Light attracts light. So it's really awesome to see and hear, especially the work that we do. Yeah. Right? That ripple effect that happens, because oftentimes you think, well, they're not listening. Oh, but they're definitely watching. You may think that they're not listening, but they're definitely watching. They're paying attention. So that's really dope. I love that, man.
So you've been in this area all of your life. What do you think about the growth, the expansion, and what's so great about Knightdale? Help educate our audience here.
Yes, it's amazing. I say I grew up and Knightdale grew up right along with me. Like we're growing up together. Knightdale, growing up here, when I lived here, Knightdale was a place, if I said anything about Knightdale, you knew anything about Knightdale, you say, oh yeah, I go through there. I've gone through Knightdale to go to Rocky Mount. Oh yeah, I have to go through that place, And I had friends that didn't live where I would say not too far away. I tried to get them to come see me, and they say, I'm not coming to the country. There's nothing out there. Right. And now Knightdale's a place that people come to. Yeah. There are people that will give me phone calls and they'll say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm in Knightdale. I'm at the park. I'm at the restaurant. I'm at Target. We go there all the time. And it just feels so great that a place that I grew up in now is a place that people are coming to and talking about. And not only what makes it great, I love the conversations. It used to be Knightdale was a place we had land. And you came to Knightdale because the land was available and it was a bedroom community. You sleep here and you go everywhere else. Yeah. And now people are coming to Knightdale for so many other reasons. There's so many options that are available now. I was in the park the other day and I ran into someone and we were having a really good conversation. And I said, well, what made you move to Knightdale? And they said, I came to the park, loved the park, met the people. Which I think is another thing that's amazing about Knightdale is the sense of community that we have here. And he said, I met the people and it just felt like home. And I wanted to be here and I looked for a home and now I'm here. Like that just means the world to me. So.
It's got that hometown hero story, right? Like, you remind me so much. Our first episode in person just so happens was with Mayor Jock Gilbert.
Yeah,
Mayor
that's right.
of Apex.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you remember that? So our first episode doing this with cameras was a sit-down episode with another mayor. And he has that same hometown hero story. He was like, I was a meter maid, and I was, And so to hear you talk now, man, it's nostalgic for me because I remember sitting down with him. But like, why? What really? How do you now prepare yourself coming from volleyball, high school, and going on and taking on? Liking Disney and getting your MBA to saying, okay, well, I'm gonna take on this responsibility now of the whole town.
Wow. Yeah.
How do you get to that point?
It's more of a willingness to serve, not necessarily I want to take on, this is what I want to do. It's more of how can I serve and how can I do something to bring the community together. I've noticed when I look back into my history and look back into things that I've done, I've always been about how do we build community. If there's ever a problem or ever an issue, I'm always asking, well, how can we make it better and how can we change it? And if nobody else wants to step up, I will step up. I will push and do anything that I can to see the positive of the situation and be able to make that positive change. And I know that we can't do that by ourselves. So not only me, but how do we build that sense of community in others? How do I share that vision with others so that they can see it as well and want to be a part of it? And that's the thought here in Knightdale. How do I continue to show not only that we're amazing today, but now look where we can go. This is the possibility. Let's bring others together and show that vision so that they're excited about it too and wanting to move towards that positive vision for Knightdale.
I love it. We got to pay the bills real quick.
Let's do it.
Right back on the Bro Code Show with Mayor Jessica Day.
So we are standing here in front of our first all-inclusive playground. We had a playground here at Harper Park and we knew that we needed to improve it. We needed to make some changes to it. And we thought about what's one of the core things that connects to Knightdale and our citizens. And one of the great things here in Knightdale is diversity and inclusion. So we started doing some research and going to some other places and seeing that there's these all-inclusive playgrounds that give opportunities for children of different types of disabilities to be able to come out, to be able to play with other children, and they can just play together and not even realize that there is differences here. So we are very supportive of diversity, we're very supportive of inclusion, and this is just one of the prime examples of some of the things that we are doing in Knightdale to support that. We are planning for this to be available in the next few months. As you can see right now that it is almost ready. We've got a few more things that we are doing with this, so over the next few months it will be available and added to this wonderful park that we have here. We are so thankful for our partners in our community. One of our partners is Wake Stone. They are one of the long-standing businesses, one of the biggest businesses that we have here in Knightdale, and they're always looking for ways to give back to their community. They're looking for ways to support, and this is another example of a way that they're supporting Knightdale. They gave a donation for this to be possible, and we're so grateful for them to be connected with us and with this in Knightdale.
We're back on the Bro Code Show. We are here with Mayor Jessica Day, right here in Knightdale, back on my own stomping grounds. We had the pleasure of being introduced to you at St. Augustine University. I got it right, see? When you were on a Black History Month panel. I got to hear a little bit about your journey then, but I'm still curious, and I'd love for you to explain it to our audience. How do you go from real estate to financial fitness coach to BASF to a career in politics, making history here in Knightdale?
Yeah. When I think about that question, I think about the conversation around leadership and often the thought process of becoming a leader, especially when it comes to something like politics or the town of Knightdale. And there's some people that this was on their vision board. I want to be this. Right. And I'll be honest, it was not on mine. But what was on my vision board was that I wanted to be a person of impact and I wanted to be a person of influence. And this was an opportunity to do that. But honestly, I struggled with the concept of leadership and being in one of those positions. Even going back to, we talked about sports and we talked about when I was on the sports teams in high school, I never fought for the team captain. And at the end of the season, I would get, and I've got multiple sportsmanship awards, or whatever they call that specific award. I've gotten multiple of those. And the conversation always at the end was, you were the leader on the team, whether you had the title or not. The team followed your lead, and you always inspired and always encouraged. UNC Greensboro, I went there, and I remember friends of mine, we were talking about the activities that were going on, the concerts that we had, and we said, well, they're not doing things that we want to go see. And here's how I usually start things. Well, who's making the decisions? How do we find out what's happening? So I go in and find out what's happening, and found out that it's a student board that makes the decisions. Went back to my friends and said, well, why don't we be on the board? Now, a couple months later, I'm the president of the campus activities board. Come back here to Knightdale. I joined the Rotary Club of Knightdale, and you know what? We could do this. Why don't we do this? And those conversations, and you start raising your hand, and people start looking at you, and not long after that, now I'm the president of the Rotary Club. So then we come to Knightdale, and you wonder, how did that progression happen when it comes on the leadership side of things? And same thing. I started going to council meetings and started asking questions. How can we make it different? How can we make it better? And we need someone to step up. I raise my hand and say, well, I'll do it. Well, you should be on a board. So I got on a board with the town of Knightdale, and then all of a sudden, not too long, I'm the president of that board. And then I had a mentor that really believed in me and really said, if you really want to make a difference, you should run for council. And to be honest, in that conversation, I said no originally. It took multiple times to say, you should run for council. And even when I said I'm going to run for council, I put my name in, I said, it just would be great to run. And halfway through that competition, I started listening to what the others that were running were saying about the vision, and I didn't align. And I just said, no, I've got to do this. And I got very serious within that because of the vision that I had, and connecting with others with where we were going with the town of Knightdale, and really believed in it. And I had a lot of citizens, obviously, that believed in that as well, and voted for me to be on the council. And then the mayor, how did I get into that position? Our previous mayor was appointed as our state representative, and it left that seat available. And the council, once again, said, we want to appoint you as mayor. I didn't think I was ready at that point either, but I had a mentor poured into me and said, you are. You don't think that you could do it because you've never done it. You've got to step in and say that you would do it. And I stepped up, and now I'm in this position. So.
One of our, or I want to say it was our second series of episodes, or close to the beginning of our journey, we did a series on Do Mentors Matter? You know, now you've called out your mentor. I don't know if you want to call him or her out by name, but how did they get you over that feeling of, I can or I can't do this, to where you felt more comfortable? And what challenges are you facing now in your leadership journey?
So my mentor specifically, and I've had multiple mentors, and so there are many people that I could name here and say, that one in particular was, now he's Representative James Robertson. He was our mayor, amazing mayor here in Knightdale, and he's been committed from the beginning. How did he help? Was just being able to reflect back and say, this is what I see. I see that you have this ability to, as I mentioned, paint this vision. You have this ability to build that community and inspire others. And it takes time. It takes practice. For example, one of my responses was, well, you speak so well, and I don't know if I can speak at that same level. And the response back was, I can speak this well because I do it. I thought it was going to be some profound answer or some profound, and he said, no, it's just time and repetition. So practice, work on it, and you can do this too. So I think that was some of the biggest things for me.
I love that too. We always say consistency is key. Whatever you do consistently, you will be great at it. Doesn't matter what it is. Good, bad, ugly, right, wrong, and different, and everything in between. Anything that you're consistent at, you will become amazing at it. And I can honestly attest to that one. So I love it. So now you've got all this responsibility, you've got the world on your shoulders, you've got young girls that are like, go Jessica, go Jessica, go. And you are the golden child, you are a PBS special.
Oh, wow.
You are.
I feel like I'm next to President Obama over here.
Exactly, right? It's popcorn. So in that space, you know, there's to whom much is given, much is required.
It is.
You know, like to whom much is given, much is required. Heavy is the head.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the mental health space. Like how do you now stay level, balanced? You know, all of those things. What does that space look like for you?
Yeah, it's been a journey. It really has. In the very beginning, what I would say is what you just mentioned. What does it look like? Knowing that responsibility and knowing that, or how I see it as, is showing that this is possible.
Yes.
And going and giving that message to show young girls that you can do this. Often we look and we see, if we don't see somebody like us, then I don't know if that's for me. So my hope is that me being in this position and remembering that as I go out, or those who are watching, but hoping that they see me and are able to say, well, if she could do it, then there's a possibility that I could do it too. At the same time, I've taken a lot of classes. I've gotten an executive coach to be able to help me through some of these conversations, and some of them are, you're doing all of this for others. What are you doing for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? What are some of the things that you're doing? And so remembering to ask for help when there are times when I need help, and remembering to work with others and bring others in. There's other spaces where there's an area of my strength that may be a strength for me and a weakness for someone else, or vice versa. Yeah. And if we pull that all to the table, we can do so much more together.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, I just want to make sure we're clear.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
That's
Yes. Right.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear, man.
Yes.
Me and the fellas talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay to be transparent. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay with the right team.
Exactly.
Right? With the right circle.
Exactly.
To hear others' perspectives.
Yeah.
I love that you say that, because we say a fist, not a finger. Right? We can do a little bit by ourselves, but we can do a whole lot more together. This is when people listen.
Yeah.
Right? This is the power. So I love that. We'll be right back on the Bro Code Show. We've got Mayor Jessica Day.
Hello. This is our first community mural that we have here, and we're so thankful for this. It is beautiful. It adds to Harper Park, but also the process that we went through with this. Sarah Lane was the artist, and she sat down with us, she talked with us, she said, really give us the essence of Knightdale. Tell me a little bit more about who you are. Tell me what you want to show. And she did an amazing job. She took all of our thoughts, all of our ideas, she put it together, and now just made this beautiful art piece that is here for people to be able to see, to enjoy as they come and they play at the park. We now have this, and this is just the start. We will do more art projects in the town of Knightdale, but we're just so proud of this as well, with everything else that's going on with the town of Knightdale.
We're back on the Bro Code Show. Jessica, we have talked about a whole lot.
Yes.
I think at this point, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Oh, you're supposed to do this, aren't you?
That's what I thought, but go ahead, knock it out, man.
What you got, bro, Jeff? My man.
I was like, okay, I guess you're gonna ask the question, but I'm very genuinely interested in what's next for you, and what can we expect from the town of Knightdale?
Yeah. So with the town of Knightdale, there's so many exciting things that are happening right now. We have so many great developments that are coming. Just one in particular, we have partnered with a local developer, and we're building our downtown up. Okay. So over the next few years, we're actually going to have that space and that downtown feel, which is exciting. Yeah. We're expanding other activities within our parks. We are creating more space for that community. As I talked about, I'm very passionate about community, building communication, which is communication externally, sending information out, bringing information back in. So we just hired a new person for our community relations department, which is a brand new department for us. We did our first ever community survey, which would like to say that the responses were very high. We were 90% over everything of satisfaction with the town of Knightdale, and with our services and with the support that our staff gets, our responses were over 20% higher than the US average. So very excited to hear that, want to maintain that and continue that, of course. And community events. So sharing with everybody keep an eye out for the community events that we have. We're doing our first ever African American festival that is going to be coming out June the 17th. So please come and support. We also will have our Arts and Education Festival that will be in August. We'll be giving away book bags. Last year we gave away book bags to the youth, and it was such a great event to see that. And our business community just poured into it and was a part of it. So we want to see that and do it again. So, and I could keep going because we've got so many great things, but that's something that I would want to share about Knightdale and what's coming up.
Okay.
And me personally.
Yeah, please. I want to know if you're going to be here to help run these initiatives.
Yes. So it is official that I will be running again for mayor's seat this year. So
let's get it.
Yes. November is election. So as we always talk about, anytime we have elections, getting the word out to vote. So right now is definitely making sure that you register. I know we have a lot of new citizens in Knightdale, so register to vote. And of course, I would love to be back into this seat because these are just some of the things that we are talking about. There's so many other things that we've talked about that would love to come to pass to continue to make Knightdale this wonderful, great place that it is to live.
Well, I'm going to claim it.
Yeah, it's already done.
It's already done.
It's already done. I love it. It's obvious that you have embraced the heart of a servant. When you talk about the town of Knightdale, when you talk about the things that you put into the work that you do on every level, you're passionate. It exudes out of you. So I look for greater, bigger, better things to continue here in the town of Knightdale. And I'm sure the citizens and those that are part of the town are proud that you are leading them.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, right, for letting us come to Harper Park.
Yes.
Sit down and have this conversation. So we have another segment called Flip the Script.
Yes.
Right? So on Flip the Script, you become the host, and now you get to ask us anything that you like. So you can ask us one question for all of us, or pick us off, whatever one is up to you. The mic is yours.
Yeah, so my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was getting nervous.
Right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
I think so.
No, the first one is, and thank you for what you're doing and the messages that you're getting out in the community. For you personally, what has been, and I'd love each individual response, but what has been one of the biggest either eye-opening things that you've learned from having a conversation with someone, or, and I say impactful maybe, or inspiring thing?
Well, we've had quite a few. The general theme that I hear more often than not is all tied into servitude and how impactful each and every person can be, whether it's at the small level, just handing out pizzas, to homeless shelters, or with affordable housing. Everyone that we've talked to in some sort of way had the heart of a servant. And that's where my values lie as well. And so it's just cool to see because I've heard those same themes from influencers, artists, musicians. Everybody loves to give back and really instill on how important that is. And if everyone in the community had that same sort of feel, this world would be a better place. So that's what I take with me from interview, and I'd be surprised if I didn't hear it at this point.
Yeah. Light attracts light, right?
Yeah.
We do, to your point, we do take a lot of effort into handpicking and choosing, like, hey, we want to give you the Bro Code experience. So along that same line, I think for me, just doing the work, like creating an organic space where people feel comfortable just having a conversation. I compare our work and describe our work like couch conversations, like as if the cameras don't even exist, and we just chopping it up. We having a courageous conversation, and oftentimes we'll lead in different ways. But I'm thankful that the consistency of the work we do has offered this and made that space available by just doing it. Right, like really taking the leap to say, we don't have a clue, but guess what? We're gonna figure it out along the way. And one thing that no one can beat us at is being our raw, authentic selves. Can't nobody be better at me than being me than me. Right? Awesome. So I'm thankful that we had the nerve, and through that nerve, found our own superhighway. Like, forget a lane.
Yeah.
You know, our own superhighway. And I'm just thankful that we're continuing to drive down it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, one conversation at a time.
Yeah. So going into that, digging a little deeper into where you started, because I know you said this has kind of grown and shifted along the way. So it's in a space now where, is this where you expected, or what was that thought of where you started and then where you are now? And then from the trajectory of today, where's that future vision for the show?
It's hard to say what I expected. You know, when we first started, we really just wanted to share our opinions and make sure that people understood what to do with their money or how to be better with their health. We were really themed in terms of our approach. I'm glad we got outside of those boxes, because we had all sorts of technical difficulties, from computers not starting until it's right on time to start the interview, to people cutting in and cutting out. But I'm happy with where we're at, but I see the future as tours, dedicated space, you know, having our own shooting location, being invited, different countries, different states, and duplicating this, you know, as far as having other people tell cool stories from their perspective under our umbrella. And from there, I don't want to put a limit on it, because I'm excited each and every time we get a chance to do this, and where it takes us, I'm ready to go.
I've always been a dreamer. Like, I've always been someone that was like, if it doesn't scare me, it ain't big enough. You know. I also remember you saying earlier, you know, aim for the moon, and even if you miss it, you land on the stars. Like, really pushing yourself. So, in the beginning, we started it under selfish reasons, and I say that because we were wanting to amplify our own voices, not really understanding that there was a sense of service in that. And I believe that, and again, to your point, that's the commonality in the nucleus in anything that we do. That it's bigger than us. And this is no different. Like, this is bigger than us. It just so happens the Bro Code platform is the vessel that allows individuals like yourself, and we've been some everywhere, bro. Like, we've had these conversations some everywhere in different places. So it just shows that the vessel itself, it'll go as far as we push it. You know, so the sky is definitely not just the limit, it's just a view, and way beyond that. Everything he said times 10, and a cherry on top. You know, that's what we see and what we envision.
That's awesome.
Good questions, though.
Was that the end of Flip the Script? Did you have any more questions?
Well, I could keep going, but I know we probably have to end the show at some point.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could talk about this all day. We definitely know that words matter. We have a segment this $2 bill segment, and in this segment we do something for our guests. We always want to leave the guests with a keepsake, something to remember the Bro Code experience. Before the show, we asked you, what's a word that you use to describe yourself or motivate yourself? You said the word positive. I was like, okay, hey, positive it is.
Let's do it.
But I'm curious, why that word? Like, you could have picked any. Why that one?
That word, because, and even going back to that leadership and what I truly believe one of my strengths is to be able to see the positive in the situation. And when you're able to see the positive, then you can see the possibility and you can see what could be. And that's how you see that vision, and you can paint that vision and build others to go towards that vision. So it all starts with having that positive mindset.
I love it. Possibilities. That's a good one. Well, we got something for you. This is the exclusive, hear me well, the exclusive $2 bill.
Oh.
We have put You Matter and your name on the front of it, as well as your word positive, the Bro Code, and we've also signed it. I know you have many awards, plaques, accolades, but
put this next to the humanitarian award.
That, whether it's in your wallet or up on your desk, that it'll be something as a motivator for you, to remember you as your word positive and of course the Bro Code experience.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for inviting us to the town of Knightdale to have this conversation. We certainly believe the best is yet to come. Now, earlier in the conversation, we asked you about positive quotes, and you didn't have one then. Now, we end the show, every show, we end with a positive quote. Now, I'm going to ask you again, just in case you got yours. If you like, I would love for you to end the show with your positive quote.
I'm going to stick with the shoot for the moon. That positive quote. I mean, that is, adding to that,
Sure.
go, sometimes we have to let go of good to go for great. And so pushing towards greatness.
There you have it. Mayor Jessica Day on the Bro Code Show. I'm Bro Troy.
Bro Smith.
And I'm going to shout out my man, Bro Kurt.
Yeah.
And we are the Bro Code.
Hey, yeah. The life. I said it's the life. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see y'all out there living y'all life, man. Live it up. I went from sleeping on the bunk inside a cage to home ownership. While people was afraid of that life, I was condoning it. And hope that I was raised with a mice known to roam. If you got it.
Oh, this was a great experience. The fact that we were able to do this in Knightdale, and just to be able to share my story and the willingness to listen and hear more about what we're doing here. And then to hear back on the vision of the Bro Code and how it's gotten to here and the message that it's getting out there from other leaders within the community is inspiring. It really is.
Blessing after blessing, will it stop? I'm still counting. Seeds manifest, good or bad, they still sprout. Mama, we made it out before the glass touch your mouth. Here's a toast to the life, something we could only dream. I do it for them nights I had to hear my mama scream. This for every sacrifice I ever made to be free. I wanted eternal life, God gave it to me. I receive it in faith.